belle météo pour se souvenir un peu de la contribution des vétérans, pour être capable de se remémorer un peu. Fait qu'on c'est quelque chose qui est très, très important. Puis on était content aujourd'hui, il y a énormément aussi de citoyens qui viennent aussi pour voir. Fait que c'est un moment aussi pour faire un peu d'éducation aussi, parce que le Canada, des fois, on est loin de la guerre, mais de se rappeler ça, se rappeler qu'on est tous sur la même planète, puis qu'il y a eu des conflits, puis il y en aura toujours.
My name is Mathieu Leroux. As a Commissionaire, I'm the Director of Organizational Performance, and as a sailor, I'm the Eastern Region Commander for Naval Reserve. As a Regional Commander, my job is to generate sailors. So I'm in charge of all units in Quebec, from Montreal to Sept-Îles, and our goal is to talk about the Navy, to make a citizen or a Canadian through a sailor, train that person, and then once that person is trained, to get them ready to deploy on operation, either here in Canada or abroad. As well, we do send sailors to different schools across the country. As a Director for Commissionaire, I'm in charge of all the conformities, customer satisfaction, but what I really like to do as well is to work with different organizations within the Commissionaire to improve process. So I'm able to work with operation, with human resource, with finance to improve the work and make everything more efficient. And I'm able to use all the tools that I gained through the Canadian Armed Forces to make things better. Commissionaire is a federation from coast to coast, which employed roughly 22,000 employees. What makes it unique in the country is it's a non-profit organization without looking for absolute profit. The goal is the human that we protect as a client as well as our employees. And the social mission of the Commissionaire is to employ veterans, reservists, their family, as well as RCMP retired officers.
Présentement, je me suis fait prendre à être maître de cérémonie. Donc, c'est moi qui va accueillir la lieutenant-gouverneur aujourd'hui, qui va accueillir les différents VIP, puis qui va avoir la chance de nommer là, tous les récipiendaires là, pour venir recevoir, prendre une photo. Chaque personne est ici avec une personne qui leur est chère. Ça peut être un parent ou un enfant ou un conjoint. Donc, on commence. Nous nous réussissons pour reconnaître les services et la constance. Dans la tradition des Forces armées canadiennes, où on honore l'engagement par des décorations et des insignes porteurs de sens, notre cérémonie ce soir s'inscrit dans la même culture de respect, de devoir et d'excellence. À l'image du système canadien des décorations.
So as a commanding officer and now as a regional commander, I gave a dozen of medals through my career, through reservists and regular forces member. But in September, I was involved in a ceremony as a master of ceremony to give recognized medals by the government to civilians. And I'm saying it's the first time because I'm pretty sure, as far as I'm concerned, the Commissioner are the only organization who gives medals to their employees, medals that recognize. And the medals recognize the time dedicated in the organization. So after 12 years and 17 years and 22 years, you receive that medal. And that's a pretty strong symbol. And those who received that medals were humble and proud. You could feel that meant something for them, and it's I think way more powerful than receiving a pen or something like this after 5 or 10 years for working for your employer. So a change of command in military it's ceremonial, but it's also a very important moment that marks the end of a command tour and the beginning of another one. In July in Quebec City, I witnessed the end of my old former boss, Commodore Montgomery, after 4 years of service, and the replacement, now Commodore Beth Vallis, who's now my new boss. It's always time to reflect, and in those speeches, often there's some emotion because you realize how much sacrifice that you made for that role.
And for my family, served 3 of my sons serve in the Naval Reserve. My husband serves in the Naval Reserve. My 3 brothers are veterans. My father's a veteran. We know service. Sir, I'll continue to be bold, to be ready, to be resilient, and to watch service.
Every change of command has that same structure. We have that funny tradition where for the outgoing commanding officer, we roll the officer away. So that marks the end of his tour. I think when I was 19, I was looking for a little bit more than the common man or woman. At that time, I was looking for experience, learning other stuff, visiting, meeting with people. So it's all stuff that I was able to do. Visit the country from coast to coast. I was able to visit other countries as well in Europe and in Africa. So the reserve gave me a tremendous opportunity to improve and to spice up my civilian life. So during my last trip to Victoria, British Columbia, I was welcomed into the city by Mark Bressler, the CEO of Commissionaire Victoria.
Bienvenue à notre siège social de Victoria Islands et Yukon Division de Commissionnaires.
It's awesome to be back. I spent many months here in summer during my career when I start in the Navy, but it's always good to be back. And now as a commissioner, I'll be happy to learn another aspect of what this island can provide.
We have great clients across the Department of National Defense, especially so. Canadian Forces Base Esquimalt, the naval base, has our largest team working in it. So that's very unique in itself. Big driver for us is our live video monitoring surveillance. So it's unique in the marketplace. Okay. We actually work with other divisions. We've had some discussions with Ontario divisions, Quebec, in terms of monitoring from afar.
So as I visited Victoria's office, I was able to witness the niche that they developed over there in remote monitoring. Same as in Quebec, we developed the expertise in cybersecurity. So that brings strength. So we can use the specialty, the expertise from one division to the other to offer to our customers the full integrated package. Roland, ça va bien?
Salut Mathieu, ça va bien et vous?
Oui, ça va, merci. Toi ici, tu es directeur de la cybersécurité, mais tu es également réserviste.
Oui, exact. Je suis directeur au Commissionnaire en cybersécurité depuis à peu près 4 ans et demi. Moi, je suis réserviste depuis 15 ans dans la Force armée canadienne en tant que sergent dans un escadron de cybersécurité.
Parle un peu des différents services que vous offrez.
On est surtout axé sur le service conseil. Donc, on va aider nos clients à passer au travers certains obstacles au niveau gouvernance, conformity. On a une panoplie de services plus techniques aussi. On fait les formations en cybersécurité, on fait les tests d'intrusion, il y a tout un département de forensique et réponse aux incidents. Si ça existe en cybersécurité, les chances sont qu'on est impliqué.
On est capable de le faire.
Oui, exact.
Puis je pense qu'il y a des réservistes qui travaillent avec toi aussi. Tu n'es pas le seul dans ton équipe?
Non, effectivement. Dans le fond, le réserve, ça représente à peu près la moitié de notre équipe.
Wow. You were a commissioner first and then you decide to join the...
Yeah, exactly. So I joined Commissionaires about 4 years ago, and it only took me about a year of working around all the guys and who were reservists, hearing about their exercises and the training they were being presented, and it just seemed like a really great experience. I felt like I was missing out by not being part of it. With that information, I kind of took that and decided to join myself as a reservist.
Okay. When was that?
Coming on 2 years short.
2 years, all right. Awesome. All right, so you as a commissioner decided to join. You were a reservist first. What decided you to complement your life with the commissioner on top of that?
Well, a lot of guys at the unit were already working at Commissionnaires. Like obviously, Roland was also in it, and Commissionnaires has always been like a name we've heard around the army, right? Like all the security guards at the front gates of military bases are Commissionnaires. Mm-hmm. And when Roland asked, "Oh, like, would you be interested?" and for me, it just made sense. Okay. I've joined only 6 months so far, so I haven't done that much yet, and I'm looking forward to do more.
All right, so thank you very much, and glad to have you on board, guys. That made me realize that, like the Canadian Armed Forces, Commissioners are spread across the country, basically on the same path as the base are. It's also good for, let's say, a family member from a military would be hired by the commissioner, and the military member would be posted in another province. There's almost a guarantee that there will be also a commissioner in that other province where a base is. So that's pretty good for the family as well, and that also support our social mission. So in Victoria, It's one of our 3 schools that we have in the Navy, and it's also the school that would train naval warfare officers. It has been many, many years I haven't been to Venture, and I was able to witness that some stuff changed quite a bit, and the accommodation, the place where the student can stay, because we do spend many months on that site, is amazing. So way better from what I lived in early 2000.
Ça devient notre maison. C'est plus du tout comme ça. Maintenant, c'est des chambres individuelles modernes. Mais il faut s'imaginer ici, 4 personnes qui dorment là-dedans, 4 personnes qui dorment en avant, 4 personnes qui dorment, et on vit, on mange. Ça devient notre famille. OK. Donc, vous pouvez vous imaginer, là, on avait un lit ici avec une petite table de chevet, puis un lit en avant, et un 3e lit et un 4e lit. Donc, c'était très, très intime. J'avais un collègue, maintenant il travaille pour la marine, c'est un sous-marinier qui a transféré en Australie. Fait que lui, il venait de Terre-Neuve. On avait 2 Ontariens, puis moi du Québec.
But on the other side, like living with those people sometimes brings challenges. We were 4 in my room, and one guy from Newfoundland was snoring like crazy. And every night he was in front of my bed, and every night I was rolling socks. So I was able to throw at him in the middle of the night when he was snoring so loud that we couldn't sleep anymore. So I was just throwing the socks, and he was waking up and stop snoring and trying to go back to sleep.
So we have our red light on, and our lights dim today because most of the assessments for the annual basic course will be done nighttime. So they're simulating nighttime navigation. This is the control office. Each one of these operators are controlling anywhere from 1 to 7 of the bridges, and they can see from a top-down navigation layout. They can see what the navigating officer or the officer to watch.
There's several simulator, and this is where we can practice the skills that we learn from the classroom and implement it in a controlled scenario. As well, this is where you're going to learn your first, like how to deal with stress, how to deal with teamwork, because we need to work as a team even on a simulated bridge.
Did you want to go over to Bridge Juliet, take a look? Louis will set that up to hit play. We can practice with that.
Basically, we do 2 types of thing in those simulator. Navigation, so going from point A to point B. The second part, and that was my favorite part, it was maneuvers. You receive orders where you need to move from point A to point B, but around a ship. So what we practice is there's like 4 ships. One won't move and the others will need to go around the ships. It's all like with codes, and we need to do, again, a lot of mental math. That type of exercise make or break naval warfare officer especially. Some people will be really good, and some people will realize they're not meant for that job.
Pass the Harry the Wolf and overtake her, take the stern of John S. McCain and slow down and match her speed.
This is also similar to the first place where you may experience seasickness. Even if the simulator itself doesn't move, your brain can be tricked into the movement of the waves and the ship going across the waves. So some people will feel seasickness even if they're in a class, like basically a classroom. So it's pretty realistic. If you do succeed this phase, you will go at sea to practice the real thing on board Orca.
Quand moi j'ai été entraîné ici, c'était des navires des années 50. C'était un navire de 75 pieds de long, tout en bois, pas vraiment de radar. Puis on était sur une passerelle ouverte à l'extérieur, donc quand il pleuvait, il nous pleuvait dessus. On avait des cartes de navigation en papier, donc quand il pleuvait, la carte était trouée parce qu'elle était pleine d'eau. Là, on est rendu dans une autre époque. J'ai travaillé sur ces navires-là, mais un peu avec mon équipage et avec la région du Québec. C'est des navires extrêmement intéressants, donc des navires de patrouille qui sont utiles pour tous les marins, autant les marins de la force régulière que de la réserve. Et ça permet d'entraîner la nouvelle génération de marins. Puis ça permet aussi de garder certaines habiletés. Donc les gens qui sont déjà entraînés reviennent en mer 1 fois ou 2 par année pour venir ici. Donc c'est des emplois extrêmement intéressants. Ici, là, j'ai tellement fait cette place-là, en vrai et en simulateur, là. On est toujours ici, là. Fait que c'est vraiment bien. À l'époque, je connaissais tout le nom des îles, les pointes, un peu moins maintenant, mais il y a de la rouille un peu.
for those who are looking for a little extra something, right now is the perfect time to look for opportunities in the reserve or in the Canadian Armed Forces. There's a trade and there's a place for you, I'm sure, close to where you live. For the reservists who look for a civilian job, Commissionaire is the best fit for that as well. They will recognize your values, they will recognize your expertise, they will support your career regardless if you deploy for a longer time on operation or for a short time on training or just for a weekend that you need to go. And for the civilian who's not looking to be part of the military but still wants to find a meaningful job to serve greater than yourself, I think the Commissionaire might have something for you too, where you will recognize to your value.